But yeah, it was like a real Premier League years kind of weekend. Like the results and the controversy, and then there's like your man Prince Philip dying as well. Like you could
they'll tie that all
you can
in
see
nicely.
that like fucking cringy kind of pun they would have said like Prince Philip died this week and another team looking unlikely to survive. Sheffield lose 3-0 to Arsenal. It's like, when there's like tasteless, he's like, "Oh fuck!" I can't even said that.
Oh, what did he say?
Because like in fucking remember whenever they do Premier League years, no one's gonna fuck about Prince Philip. Like, I mean, the Queen's husband. Like, no, like they're mourning them now, but like give it 5 years, and people will be making those. Someone else who's circling the drain for the last few months. Sheffield United.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would clubs say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with your hosts, Cathal and Will. We're back again. Will, you must be loving it after the weekend, watching United win and play well, at least for the second half.
Must have had you feeling some type of way.
Oh, there is literally no better feeling than just, even if United lost when they lost 6-1 to Spurs, I was still like, yeah, but we're running. We're doing stuff. It's fun to watch. We're not, it's not just blowing it every week.
Yeah.
I'd rather take one hammering and then see where it goes after that. Yeah. So yeah, very good to turn it around.
Yeah. It was a good game though. And I mean, that would probably makes my patented game of the round, I would say.
The people have been clamoring.
There's so much in that. Like, we not going to have to ask where to start, because that's the place to start. But where do we start in that? Yeah. I mean, before the game even started, just in case, and sometimes these big fixtures, they tend to flatter to deceive. So I mean, they had, just in case that was going to happen, they had Keane versus Redknapp 2 as a warm up. And I just thought, like,
I woke up, I was out of bed about 20 minutes, I turned on the telly, and Roy Keane was already arguing around the day it only started.
Because I saw it on Mika Richards' I was Instagram or Twitter, wherever he had it on. He had a video of them. He was like, in this corner we have Red. I was like, oh no, man, please, no. And I just like, I couldn't believe it. Like, they've brought him on
to get bullied.
Like they're trying to fucking Joker Jamie Redknapp, see if he blows Dave Jones' head off. Like, you're probably here to laugh at me, Dave. You're awful. I was like, well, like they've brought him on. I was like, you're to laugh at him, to make fun of him, to like, oh, remember the last time you were on Roy Keane, you made a show yourself. Now we're going to bring you on again in the hopes that you lose the rag again.
And also, Man United are playing Tottenham, and there's a good chance United are going to win. So Roy Keane's going to really give it to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I just thought it was, I felt a bit bad for Redknapp, because you can't say, well, I'm not coming in. Like, it's like, well, you have to. Like, the random slot generator has put you in the slot with Roy Keane this day. It's like, but he knew what they were doing. He knew that they want him to go mad. Now, it didn't really materialize into anything. There was one bit where, I mean, it was pretty like, I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he really wanted to bully Jim Redknapp on here. There was one bit where he was like, oh, Spurs are soft. It's like, well, they're not soft. They've had good teams. Like, like, how, what do you mean they've been soft? It's been soft for the last 40 years.
Yeah, like,
and like that, and that's what that is like, the most, that is, oh yeah, probably Arsenal is trying to walk it in. It's that level of analysis. It's like, oh, Spurs are soft, groundbreaking stuff. You know what I mean? And then just
Spurs got to a Champions League final like two or 3 years ago.
But did they win it? And I mean, look, a lot of teams were top of the league in November, Jamie. Like, that's all he had to go back with. Just say, but did they win it though? But
like, you'd swear as well that United over the last few years have been like, big, tough men. They had Jesse Lingard dancing around the pitch most of the years, like, and lads like Pereira and stuff. And Keane never said a word about them.
Yeah, no, I mean the general softness dig. I just thought like that is what he's trying to wind him up. And Jamie at one stage was like, I disagree with you, Roy. I just disagree with you, right? Just remember your training, Jamie. Remember yourself in the mirror this morning.
Remember what your therapist told you.
Just disagree and move on. Yeah, but then I suppose once the game started, that kind of stuff didn't really matter because there was incidents, we'll say.
Yeah, loads.
The main talking points was the Son, the Son incident. He was, for anybody, now of course everybody's seen it, but like if you didn't see it, he was tangled with McTominay in the middle. His arm kind of flicked back and hits on the face. And as we said in the last Champions League episode, which maybe you didn't hear, but which is our fault. But anyway,
yeah, we forgot to promo our own podcast.
Yeah, we just thought, we're big enough now, But in that last one, we were talking about the Roma player. Was the Roma? No, the Roma player, the Ajax ball boy fucked the ball at him and hit him in the chest, and his like instinct was to go down and get the ball boy sent off, and then he
he stopped in time before he could, but you could see he tried.
He stopped and then realized it was a ball boy, and he had like kind of a confused, angry face, like, now what do I do? So like Son, got hit in the face. All their instincts is to just hit the deck,
Yeah, and it works. Why wouldn't it?
It works. And was it? I think Rashford. Similarly, he was kind of going down a blind alley. I think he probably was fouled. He got a kick in the back of the leg, and then
he got a kick in the ankle and a light.
It got brushed.
It didn't hurt
towards
him,
his face, and then he was kind of like, "Well, I wonder what the referee saw. Did they like the kick in the leg or the face?" So he went,
he didn't know what to do.
So he covered the face and went down, and even the accused MUTV commentary team of Gary Neville and Martin Tyler were like, "I don't know why he's holding his face. He kicked in the leg."
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they didn't see that though, because
I saw it. I mean,
touched him. Yeah.
But anyways, because it looked like he was going down a blind alley, he looked like he was just kind of running out of ideas and dived. The ref doesn't give us.
Yeah.
And then people just kind of move on, and Rashford goes, "All right, well, I guess that didn't work," and he kind of gets up. But Son did the same thing. He was down probably about as long as Rashford, and then the goal was scored, and someone obviously came over to him and said, "Son, they're checking it. Be cool. Stay down."
Yeah. Pretend to keep rolling, buddy.
So he stayed down for a long time afterwards.
A year, it felt like. It was ridiculous.
But that's all. And not saying that it's right or just because everyone knows it's right, but I mean the reaction was kind of like, well, I think Ollie said the game's gone. The game's absolutely gone. It's like as if you've never seen someone dive before. Like that was the reaction. Like, what a cheat! I can't believe he's cheating like that. It's like you can't believe it. You can't believe this.
Well, Solskjær didn't just say the game was gone. He said if his own son acted like that, he wouldn't feed him.
Well, you know what? We should play the clip because it was
that was an insane thing to say.
I have to say, if my son stays down like this for 3 minutes and he gets 10 of his mates around him if he gets that in the face from one of his other mates and he needs 10 mates to help him up, yeah, he won't get any food.
It's such a weird ending. It ends so different because it's so harmless all the way through, and then he goes, "My son did that, I'd starve him to death."
Well, I definitely think he just started down that road, and then
you didn't know where he was
looking
going.
for an exit. It's like, once the exit comes, I'll get off, and he just was like. Because he started off, I think, with the thought of like, I will say something about being childish, but he was wrong turn straight away. He said, "My son." So now I can't be too insulting. So I have to go, and if his mates and 10 other mates, and I wouldn't feed him. I was like, what? You wouldn't feed your son? It was very bizarre where people were like, I think I know what you mean, Ole.
Kind of get.
So we'll let him off.
Yeah.
So, they didn't press him on it, and they didn't ask Mourinho about it afterwards. But Mourinho was kind of banking that they would, because that's exactly what Mourinho wants. He wants a side story to press on.
Managers rather than your shitty team.
Don't talk about how my managers, they talk about, do you hear that I didn't feed his son? I mean, is anybody else going to talk about this? I'll just play
Let's talk
this.
about the real issues.
Yeah, yeah. I had to play that clip too because you got to hear José's response.
I just want to say, Sonny is very lucky that his father is a better person than Ole. Because I think I am a father, I think a father, you have always to feed your kids, doesn't matter what they do. If you have to steal to feed your kids, you steal. I'm very, very disappointed. And because with me, like we say in Portugal, bread is bread and cheese is cheese, I told already Ole what I think about his comments. And I have to tell you that I'm very, very disappointed that in 5, 6, 7 questions, you ignore the dimension of that comment.
The ramblings of two mad.
I don't know how Ollie comes out with that bizarre comment, and then Mourinho somehow comes out worse.
How does like? Yeah, he's just like, all right, mate. He's not really starving his kid.
Like he even said, he's like, I can't believe 6, 7 questions, and no one asked you about the question I wanted you to ask. It's like, yeah, we know why. That's why, because
there's more pressing issues.
Because it was a throwaway comment. It was an analogy, maybe. Oh, it wasn't even an analogy. It was just an attempt, And you usually give the excuse of a second language or the language barrier. Ollie's never had those issues before, so that was.
Ollie seems very clever. He speaks English really well.
So that was just it happens to us all the time. We just edit it out. We go down these kind of rants. Go, I don't want to talk about fucking. Just whatever. Just forget it. Skip it. Move on.
Ollie. If Ollie was doing an hour-long podcast and he said that, I'm not keeping it in.
No, I'd like. Whatever, man. Anyways, we on to. No, it was funny, but it was a good game all the same. Like it feels like we're kind of like, oh yeah, that was only happened, but like, Spurs took the lead. Yeah, that goal was disallowed. Again, I think we're kind of skipping it, but it's kind of everybody knows at this point. If you listen to this, you probably know what happened. You know what I mean? Like the goal was disallowed, and then Tottenham went down and Son himself scored, and they went into halftime 1-0. So I mean,
I'm used to things like that. But that one really bugged me. Obviously, because I'm a United fan, so that's why. Yeah, really. But part of me is just like, it just feels like a lot of football games now is like, it's not who's the better team. It's like who's going to benefit from the bigger fuck up from like the refs. It's stupid.
Because we said this a few weeks ago, like, oh, VAR definitely will make next season. Like at this point, will it make the end of the season? I mean, it's just gotten like for weeks and weeks. We were talking about this, and Mourinho actually said that in a later part of the interview as well. He was like, "I don't understand the rules anymore." That we've been pioneering that, folks. We haven't understand the rules for weeks. Back when everyone else was still clinging on, we were long gone.
I don't know anything anymore.
We were 2 minutes into a football podcast before we realized we don't actually know how the game works.
Yeah, and everyone's jumping on that bandwagon now, being like, "Yeah, I mean, fucking, what are the rules anymore? Who even knows?" Like, it is bizarre because it was a good game. Like the first half was really good. There's was a good bit of like bite and I don't know, maybe
especially after the disallowed goal, both teams were really riled up. I think even before that, it's like it's become this weird kind of a mini rivalry. Yeah,
like it had like a
definitely since José went as well.
Yeah, there's a few different things.
There's so many players that he wronged at United, or that just want to spite him.
It had almost like a derby feel to it at times, like some of the tackles going in. And I mean, I don't remember always being like this, but I think it was. I remember a few years ago that Roy Keane autobiography. There was the quote from us, that one, like, "Lads, it's Tottenham," the halftime speech.
Yeah, the Fergie.
And that's just become like a meme now, where like people, every time Tottenham fuck up, "Lads, it's Tottenham, lads, it's Tottenham." Like the players see that. That's gotta fucking, rile you up. But at the same side, the United players probably think, "Lads, it's Tottenham." Like, we have kind of like a right to win this because it is Tottenham. And Tottenham like, fuck, I do not want to lose to these people because I think they're going to win. So like, it's just become like literally out of a Roy Keane quote, it's become this like grudge match. But it's great. It was great. It was great TV.
Really good.
And the man of the match was Cavani, and he was so good.
He was unreal. It's been weird because he was like that for a few weeks. Then he got the ban. A bit of an injury, And the last few games, he was brutal. I don't think he kicked the ball in 2 games in a row. And I was kind of thinking, like, he's finished. He's like, had his little burst and now he'll kind of wind down.
Yeah.
But then he was the best he's been all season. Like, he was so good.
I think that's what they say about, like, you know, when you get older, it's not even that, like, you just legs go overnight, but it's like injuries and if you're not playing regularly, you're just a bit slower to get back to that level.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's only so many games in the year. You can't spend 3 or 4 of them getting back to it. But that is just the reality at that age. But his movement was so good. Like,
he's so good, yeah.
you know, I don't think United are as far off competing as you might think. Like, you see some games this season and think, oh my God, like this, what is this squad? Like, you see Fred playing some games like, oh my Jesus, like he's never going to win a league.
But then Fred has games and you're like, holy fuck, he's great.
But just when you had a capable centre forward up front making the right movements.
Yeah.
Like, they really
I think they're 2 players off, I think, challenging. Maybe not winning, but like proper challenging. I think because they've no right winger still, really. Right winger, striker, and that's such a difference. Like.
They wouldn't obviously have beaten City in the form they're in this year, but like that's been ridiculous. Like the run they went on, it won't happen every year, you know.
Yeah.
But I think they're close enough. I think Neville said that before. Like, it's important to finish like within 10 points because then you can say to yourself, "Oh well, 3 points against them, or we dropped a point against them." When you're more than 10 points, like, don't even bother. Like, oh, you know, you can't make up those games. So, like,
scrap the season, we go again.
Yeah, but even when if you're like trying to attract a Haaland or attract a Harry Kane, you know, if you can be within 10 points, you go, well, you know, am I worth less than 10 points in the season? I would hope so.
Well, like, Martial scored, I think, 3 goals all season, and he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think Greenwood only scored 4. Like, if you add in someone who scores 20 goals to that team, that's such a difference. Like,
yeah.
That's beating Sheffield and beating West Brom in those games, like, or not losing to Everton in the 3-2 and things like that.
It's just that you can kind of pick out the kind of point that you dropped and maybe you should have won here and there. But yeah, I think a really quality striker, and like that's obviously easier said than done. But I mean,
that would get them pretty close.
I mean, it was like I said. I think that's why it was a big game for United. Like, obviously, we were saying before about winning is a habit, and you want to win games going to other competitions. But in terms of attracting, if it is Harry Kane, who he played well again, he's playing that role of like, I'm too good for this team perfectly. But there is still this kind of, I take this kind of personally because it reminds me of my own mortality. Like, people are like, nah, he's too old. He's too old. It's like he's 27. He's in his prime, surely. No?
Yeah, he's in the peak.
I mean, I know everyone points to Hazard at Real Madrid, but anybody could have told you that was going to be a bad decision because it's Hazard. Like, you know, he's not that interested in it, I don't think. I think he's, you know.
Harry Kane goes for it. Harry Kane plays until he can't play. Like, he plays until he's hurt.
Yeah, and you know, there's obviously the Sanchez one at United, which people point to as well, saying that, you know, he came in at that age, but
he was shy at Arsenal before he left.
Yeah, he you know, players like that, you can say, I know it's kind of a cliche to say, oh, they had attitude problems. You know what I mean? They had attitude problems. But they did. Like, they were like kind of ones you would say, like, you wouldn't be looking to them to, like, I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest, but I do think that Harry Kane, he's a risk at 27. It's like, he's so good in the way he plays. I mean,
and he does everything as well. Like, he can drop back and he'll get 20 assists, or he'll play up top and he'll get 20 goals. It doesn't matter. Like,
he's changed his game a bit, like, in the last couple of years, because he used to get a bit injured.
That's going to make his career go longer. Like, he doesn't really use pace that often.
Yeah,
he's not one of those players.
He can do it all. Like, so I mean, I think Haaland is probably who City wants, but like, judging by fucking rumor mill, which doesn't mean anything really. But
yeah,
Haaland and Mbappe, because they're 20 and 21 respectively.
That's just good business to get them.
When they're so good now, the best case scenario is you have a striker for the next 10 years. That's what he always says. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Harry Kane, you're like, oh well, maybe 4 or 5 years, like, best case scenario. So that's what they're looking at. But I do think for someone like United, I mean, there's not a team really who couldn't do a striker in the Premier League right now, is there?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. No, especially not Harry Kane's level.
Like, even Chelsea are rumored to be
crying out for
getting rid of poor Timo. You know, Liverpool the Firmino issue. That's who are they getting rid of? City obviously are letting Aguero go at the end of the season. United have a hole, a gaping hole, that number 9 spot. Like, for someone to not take the option on Harry Kane, I would be very, very surprised. For the fact that he's 20, old man at 27. I mean, Jesus, like.
And like he'll be like over 100 million.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be like a fucking, like a 200 million player or anything like that. Like, it's not going to be. It's something these clubs can do, like, if they've thought ahead well enough.
Well, that is, I suppose, the other stumbling block, the Daniel Levy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People kind of give a lot of credit to, like, oh, Daniel Levy, and you don't want to mess with him in transfer market. It's like, he's going to charge a lot of money, but like,
he's also going to, like, he's going to upset all your players until they leave for free.
You think of like Bale,
and they're going to be like, I hate it.
They got a lot of money for Bale, but like, who do they have nothing to replace. Like, just because he managed to stall the deal, basically, he's this great. Oh, like, you won't do business with like, I know that the Haaland one is, like you're saying, is the one that people want, because Dortmunds tend to just quit while they're behind. They go, look, if he wants to leave, he wants to leave. We'll take.
Well, last year was the first time they didn't with United and Sancho, because remember the whole thing was they gave a strict deadline and a price, and everyone was like, yeah, okay, United are buying them in the summer.
Yeah.
And then on deadline day, United all of a sudden are in for Cavani and Ousmane Dembele and loads of people, because they were like, what do you mean the deadline was real? The deadline's ever real.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's too late. We're not getting rid of him now.
That was an outlier for sure. And that's why people were like, man, you couldn't get a player off Dortmund, Woodward? Like, come on. Anybody can get a player off Dortmund. Arsenal got a player off Dortmund.
And as well, Sancho was shite for months after it, which made it look like he was dying to go.
Sancho looked like he was agitating to move, like all the pieces there. So people like Woodward, like, how did you fuck that up? Like, but
he was partying with fucking the rapper Dave, and Dave's a massive United fan. Yeah. And Dave had it on his Instagram story, like with Sancho. He's like, you know what's coming next? And Sancho, rather than being like, he was like, yes, Still
I didn't catch that bit of social media, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, but no, I mean, I think, Tottenham, they won't make top 4 now. I mean, again, I don't fucking know. I wrote Liverpool off weeks ago, and look at them now. Like, it's mad that you could think that it could be City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, but that could be the top 4. It's like, nothing new this season. It's like, but Tottenham, they were top of the league at one point. I think Everton were there. I mean, no. Business as usual. It's mad that it happened, but that was definitely the best game, I think, in terms of like just stuff happening. And of course, with that win, the title race is officially back on, because City dropped points to the mighty Leeds. We said all season, love watching Leeds.
10-man Leeds.
Yeah, 10-man Leeds. 1 up and a man down at halftime. That against Pep Guardiola. That's quite the situation to be in. They did kind of park the bus down the second half, to be fair. And then City got on back and they'll drop 2 points, but no big deal. But Dallas with 2. Dallas with a brace against City. That was a
big one.
They did switch up
I still don't know if Leeds are good. What do you think?
Leeds are great, man. Yeah, I mean, every kind of said, this style won't work. This kind of gung-ho style working in the Championship, because you have players that are better. Whereas when you're going up a step up to the Premier League, like, it won't work. And there's an argument that it hasn't worked in some games, and they could have maybe adjusted it slightly to, against, say, Villa or, Arsenal, teams around that level who were like, good going forward but can't defend them. They probably threw a few points away, but I think they've been good. Like, they've been definitely entertaining.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, they're good to watch. Really good to watch.
City obviously changed their squad up a bit. Rest 2 players.
Because they can. No big deal.
Well, Dortmund, it is a cliche, but they had one eye on Dortmund, I'd say, in the midweek. But this is why I said Dortmund might give them a hassle for exactly what Leeds did, hit them on the counter. Because there is, as great as John Stones has been this season, like, he's still John Stones. Like, he's still not the best centre back that's ever, graced the Premier League. So there's gaps there. Dortmund maybe watching that game, thinking, there you go. That was, if Stuart Dallas can barge on through and finish.
Yeah, surely Haaland. You
Surely
can do something.
Haaland or Marco Reus or someone like that might be able to get a chance. So yeah, good win for Leeds. For City, like I said, they played. I think who was it? Netanyahu. They played Zinchenko.
I forgot about it. They haven't really used that game much, I don't think.
I mean, this is the time to use it. You know, the league is wrapped up, really. But United are what, 8 points behind them now?
Yeah, I think it's 8 points, but
something like that.
I mean, there's like 8 games to go.
Yeah, no, like it will be a mass implosion. That said, and this my stat of the week, again, not really a stat, just kind of something that I read, is that it was this time, it was the same points of the season when, and City were the same points ahead of United when Aguero scored that last minute win on the last day. So United reeled them in this much points at this stage of the season with this many games to go. And it was only the last kick of the game that City managed to win. So, and that was obviously a very different City team, and it wasn't managed by Pep Guardiola, and United were managed by Alex Ferguson. So there is some glaring differences.
Yeah, United were playing Sunderland on the last day.
And I don't know off the top of my head what the running is, but look, stranger things have happened, Will.
I think United have to play Leicester again as well, which is never good.
They're
going to be desperate too.
After the loss they had against West Ham, they were going to really need to buck themselves up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The story from that, of course, was 3 players broke COVID restrictions for Leicester. It was Chowdhury, Maddison, and José Perez.
How are they still doing that? It's like a year. I get they're probably sick of it, but them being sick of it is different to me and you being sick of it. They're fucking pro footballers.
But it wasn't they were going partying on a boat with Instagram models. They were partying at José Perez's house.
But they're all tested then.
What do you mean?
But wouldn't they all be tested then anyway? Like they'd know if each other has COVID, or was there others in the house?
No, but it was that they just broke restrictions.
Oh,
you know, like the I know what it is in England specifically, but like the 5K rule, like they broke the law kind of thing. Right. So, and then that's Premier League. If you break restrictions, you can't play for. So it wasn't that Brendan Rodgers dropped them; just like he had to drop them like by the law. So
I see.
Yeah, it was him and Harry Barnes. All the injured boys are over at José Perez's house for a few cans. I don't know.
Doing their podcast.
Yeah, God knows, someone starting a full podcast. We've all been there.
Thought they were watching the Guztep game.
Possibly, yeah. So yeah, they came up against West Ham. They came up against West Ham, and Jesse Lingard continued his late push for the Ballon d'Or with another 2 goals. I mean, look,
and they were unbelievable again. Like he's not fluking them; they're always unbelievable.
You're only as young as the last time you change your mind, Will. And I can say it. I was wrong with Jesse Lingard. I mean, he's actually really good.
Yeah, he's a great.
He played really well. He scored another 2 goals. Because I was saying, oh yeah, the English call up is ridiculous. That's United bias, whatever. But I mean,
he's starting.
He's starting at this point. Jesus, I mean, he has what, 8 goals in the league?
I think it's 8 goals in 7 games.
I think Rashford has 10 goals.
He's
it's not mad.
I think he has the same amount of goals now after 8 games as he did in his best ever season, I believe. Pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, is it David Moyes? Is the magic David Moyes?
Well, I think it's just playing for a team that sits back and plays on the counter.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Ollie, like he was good with José when United did that.
Yeah.
But then when Ollie started to keep the ball and play against other low block teams, he wasn't at all.
Yeah.
So just suits him, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, fair play to Jesse Lingard. But yeah, like I said, Declan Rice injured for next 4 or 5 weeks. They won without him. Yeah. We were lauding the Leicester midfield.
We just like Lewandowski, we absolutely put the kibosh on them, curse them.
Like they played well enough in maybe the second half where they kind of came back and got a few goals. Iheanacho with the 2 goals for them kind of made it a lot closer than you would have thought at half time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Mark Noble making his 400th appearance for West Ham was
400.
Boston, the midfield against the great Tielemans and Ndidi. And we were like, Jesus, you know, these guys are going to be the replacement for Fernandinho. And they didn't look like that against West Ham. Fucking hell. Like,
no, they sure didn't.
I think, though, because we were saying earlier on, like when the schedule was just totally out of control, like players are just absolutely out on their feet.
Yeah.
And then it kind of regulated itself a bit, and there was a bit of a second wind. A lot of teams this weekend looked absolutely best. Like,
yeah, definitely.
That Leicester team looks really best. Now, they've been missing Madsen and Barnes and James Justin's out for the season. Like, they're missing some of the better players for a long time now, but they looked totally zapped of energy.
But that's what happens to Rodgers Leicester. That's what happened last year as well. They were miles ahead, and then the last 2 months just got worse and worse and worse every game. Because weren't they like 16 points ahead of United last Christmas? And then they finished like 5th rather than 4th or whatever it was.
They lost the top 4 in the last day last year, wasn't it? Like, it was like...
Yeah, against United, yeah.
You know, you hate to it happen to them again, but I don't know. They really need an injection from somebody. Maybe Madsen is the one to come back and do that, but they looked really tired against West Ham. West Ham... they should have fallen away by now. They should have fallen away weeks ago, but they're still very much in it. They didn't have Rice or Antonio, but they still won like 3-2. So I mean, the defense is still bad. People were saying like, "Oh, Craig Dawson's turned into this great defender." Like, the defense is still shaky at times.
They do concede a lot. Like, it seems like a lot of their games are 3-3, 3-2, 4-3.
Yeah. Now, and one of the players that I totally overlooked last week when I was talking about the left backs, couldn't even think of him, Cresswell. He went off, and then they played Masuaku at left back there, and instantly just every ball on that wing, that's where all the goals came from. So, yeah, apologies to Cresswell or any West Ham fans.
Imagine being Masuaku, like he comes on, he's like, hit it to him. Move in.
Yeah, so he went off injured. He might be a loss, and that might be one of the main issues, because they were looking lost without him. Has he got a call to bring yet? I've never heard him even mentioned in a thing.
I don't think so. I think he's down the list. I might be wrong though, but I don't know where he ranks in the power ranking.
When I saw him play, I was like, wait, he's an English left back, but I don't think he's ever even been mentioned in the same breath as England's national team. But he had a good game, and he was a great game when he went off, because that's how badly he was missed and he lost it. So, but yeah, the other golden boy, our golden boy, not actually an official golden boy, but that one wrong as well. He never won that award. He won the Premier League Young Player of the Year. Is what we're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, again, our golden boy, he got the winner for Liverpool, Alexander Arnold.
Yeah. That was a great winner as well.
A great winner. This was Liverpool's first win at home in like 8 games.
Something
ludicrous against Aston Villa, like a last minute winner against Aston Villa at home. One of the teams that suffered a lot from not having any fans, because, like, you know, Anfield is usually like a fortress and you never walk alone, all this stuff. It does kind of seem to make a difference. But the power rankings are definitely on the move this week. The right back power rankings.
Things are shifting.
Alexander Arnold, you would have said off the bottom.
He was out last week.
He was rock bottom. He was rock bottom.
He's shot up.
He's up again. But again, by scoring a goal, it doesn't actually change anything.
No, it just fools you.
Well, no one ever doubted that you could go well. Everyone doubted your defensive abilities, and you have to play Real Madrid again. So I mean, hold your horses on the Alexander train.
Yeah. I suppose it's just that thought of like, well, what if you can score a last minute winner for England in the World Cup?
Yeah, and that's what World Cups come down to, like 1 minute, 1 goal is 1 moment where you score a winner. But like Wan-Bissaka had a great game.
Wan-Bissaka was great again.
He's forced to win that conversation. I love it. It's perfect for the pod.
Because Martin Tyler was even talking about it. He's like, he's pretty low down on the rankings.
Yeah,
Like,
Martin Tyler basically just I'm going to take a second out of this really exciting game to make a case for Wan-Bissaka to play for him. He's like, he'd definitely be done for tampering or something if it was the NBA. You can't just do that. Use your airtime. Just like, Gary, something I was thinking about. Like, what?
Gary? Gary, quick question. Why is the best right back in the league not playing for England?
Riddle me this, Gary. Something was playing on my mind. Yeah, it was like, Jesus.
You're a right back, Gary.
Yeah, in your right back experience. Yeah, no, it was funny. Like, now Kyle Walker, was he playing? I don't think he was. I think he was rested.
I think he was rested.
Which is actually good.
Seems like, I think City rested. Yeah, again, like we said about Trippier, out of sight, out of mind.
When you're not playing, we lose. Well, what can I say? I wasn't playing, no win. How many games won in a row? But
Southgate's sitting at the City game with his notepad, and he's like, interesting.
Yeah. But and that, as you said there, it brings on to Trippier, who he went off injured in Atletico Madrid's game.
Oh no, the rankings.
Well, I had him on the plane. Who knows now if he'll be fit or if he's going to play any more games. If he doesn't play any more games, that might stand against him. That makes it easier for Southgate to say, look, he hasn't been playing recently, he's come back from injury. Because you want to make the decision easy for yourself. You want an excuse.
Yeah.
Trippier, not looking good for him. Didn't play or didn't finish the game. He could be injured. And then Reece James played a half, came on, got an assist, which is good for him because he came on, like, that's kind of his USP or USP, I should say. He has to be good going forward because that's kind of Trent's thing. So you have to show that you're able to get assists and goals. So I don't know where the power rankings land now. I think if Trippier is a long-term absence, he's probably out.
Yeah,
Walker, and then I think maybe Reece James probably, I would say. Who knows?
Yeah, because it seemed like last week, when Klopp was talking about Trent, it seemed like he was told something or something was said.
Yeah.
And Southgate probably isn't going to appreciate, like, getting brought up like that, I'd assume, maybe.
Yeah, he...
I'll fucking show him.
He posted that thing, the Are You Not Entertained? Did you see that?
Trent
Yeah.
did.
Which fairly thinly veiled, I would say. I mean, it's pretty obviously that was aimed at, like... which, I don't know. Again, you haven't proved anybody wrong.
You scored a goal.
Scored a goal, which, we all know you can do. We all know you can get assists and score goals, but it's the defensive end. And like I say, you have to play Madrid tomorrow, the next day. Like, I would have held my horses on the social media posts there, Trent, but each their own. What else do we have then? What other kind of results were there?
Well, your boys did well.
Yeah, good win.
But will we talk about Aubameyang?
What happened to Aubameyang?
Remember he wasn't in the squad because he had the flu.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't think exists at the moment.
No, that was a strange one to say that he got the flu. I mean, I don't know how you would have got that, but I think it's probably come to an end. It's come to an order-like end, I would say, for Aubameyang.
Right when he signed a new contract. Good stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, scored 2 goals. I was possibly a bit harsh on him the last episode. And people were crying that he wasn't playing for France.
Seems like everything we say the next week is immediately proven wrong.
13 goals for him this season.
That's loads.
It's a lot, but I mean, what do they mean? But no, I mean, look, it was a good win. It was the bottom teams. You got to win that. But no, good to be going into Europa League on the back of a win, I would say. And
yeah, they need.
I think he mentioned that, saying it's always easier to recover after a win. So.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're back friends again. I think me and like I said, we're back on the same page here. We're just looking forward to Europa League here, and we'll push on. In the relegation battles, that was some drama there. Newcastle, too big to fail. Definitely too big to lose against Burnley when Alan Saint-Maximin is playing. What an impact! I mean, this is the thing.
He's an amazing player.
He is unbelievable. He has played so little. That's the only thing that would stand against him. But I mean, for another club looking at a right winger, like Jesus, he was excellent for them. And if they have him for how many games? 8 games left. If they have him for 4 of the games, like that, they'll be grand.
Yeah.
But without him, they just look utterly, toothless up front. I mean, they just cannot score. Wilson came on as well, so they have him back. He didn't look as good as Saint-Maximin now, but that's the key to them staying up. if they have him, they'll be grand. Fulham lost to Wolves, and you have to imagine that was one they thought they could win. Like if they look at the run in,
it's slipping away now, isn't it?
Yeah, that I would say was a bit of a demoralizing one for them because it was only 1-0. Like this is the story of Fulham. Like they've been unlucky all season. Like I mean, how many games are you going to be unlucky before? It's just like it's a pattern now of losing.
Yeah.
There's a 92nd minute winner. Now a point wouldn't be much good to them anyways when Newcastle won, but it's better than 0, I suppose. So yeah, a tough loss for them in the relegation battle. But a late surprising. Now this would be the greatest of great escapes, I think. West Brom. 3-0 Southampton. They beat Southampton 3-0. Scored 8 goals in the last 2 games. Against Chelsea and Southampton. That's ridiculous.
Well, you know what? I think we kind of mentioned that after the Chelsea game. They probably have a team of lads who didn't play during the international break, really.
Yeah.
Like they have the others who got a nice rest and now are able to.
Yeah.
Like I'd imagine Southampton was a team full of lads who played those 3 games that week and then were right back at it.
Yeah, definitely. They have a difference. A few internationals more. They are one of those teams, like say, in the middle on the beach already, kind of like they're not relegation, not in any fear of getting Europa League or anything like that either. So but they are in the FA Cup, aren't they? Southampton still.
They're in the semi against Leicester, yeah.
Yeah.
And they might win that now because Leicester are collapsing.
They probably have to rely on that maybe, but yeah, West Brom definitely coughing the hop or something because they beat them 3-0. Callum Robson, who else on the score sheet?
El Diablo.
A great goal. Hopefully this just turns into him being a good player rather than just good against Chelsea.
Yeah. But is he retired for Ireland or do I have him mixed up with McGoldrick?
You have mixed up with McGoldrick, yeah.
I was thinking that.
McGoldrick left with McCarthy. I think.
A weird choice.
There you go. So yeah, West Brom, they are on 24 points and Newcastle on 32. So 8 points behind. Again, I don't know the strength of schedule, as I say in the NBA, but I mean, it would be a long shot for West Brom to come out of this, surely.
Yeah. Well, that Fulham Newcastle game last day, that could just be a game that Newcastle don't have to win, but Fulham do to get out. Like, it depending on how West Brom are going and things like that.
Yeah, Newcastle play West Ham. Oh, tough one. Ooh. Liverpool, also tough. Arsenal. Winnable. You don't know where Arsenal will be.
Don't know who's going to show up.
Leicester. Ooh.
That's a tough run.
Man City. Ooh.
Oh my god. Are they playing the All-Stars?
This is a preseason schedule I'm reading. Yeah. What's going on here?
This is for the International Champions Cup or something.
Then Sheffield. Now they will be mathematically relegated by that point, I'm sure. So I guess playing for pride, playing for contracts to other clubs, perhaps. God knows. That's maybe winnable. And then Fulham on the last day. So saying that, say Newcastle won't win any more games the last game. Who did Fulham have in the last few games? I wonder.
No idea.
Look at their fixtures.
That's crazy running. How have they been doing so bad if they haven't?
They haven't been playing the good teams. Oh my god, you're right. Fulham, on the other hand, have Arsenal. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh now, but it's not the worst game in the world. Then Chelsea, not great.
Ooh.
Then Burnley, that's pretty good.
Oh.
Southampton,
yep,
all right.
Oh,
Man United.
It depends who shows up.
Well, no, but they're going well. They got to be confident. I don't think Fulham will bother them.
That's a bit away though. They'll probably be after losing the Europa League semi-final, and then that's it.
And then the last game was Newcastle. So if you say that Fulham could beat Arsenal, they could beat Southampton and Burnley, that would be 9 points. And how many points are they off Newcastle's points?
Like 5 or something like that.
Table. 6 points off. Yeah, that last game is definitely going to be a final. That's good.
With fans as well.
Oh, unless there's some
Newcastle Stadium or is in Fulham?
I wonder now. I'll check that again.
Because that's going to be big either way. Like if there's, I think it's like 10,000 fans in it.
Oh, it's in Fulham.
Tony Khan will be in attendance.
Now, look, I'm giving Fulham a lot of credit here to say they're going to beat, Arsenal. They're going to beat Southampton. They lost to Wolves, who aren't going well. So who knows? Like, I mean, it could be all over by the time that game comes around. But I mean, best case scenario, there could be a little fun. And not that I want Newcastle to be relegated. I do have a kind of a soft spot for Newcastle ever since the Demba Ba days, the Joachim Bay. Check Tiote, God rest him. He was like the original.
Well, they just don't see. They're one of those teams that don't seem like a championship team. Like they're just a Premier name. Like
it'd be weird not seeing them in the Premier League, right? But they've just been playing well now with Sam Maxim back. But prior to that, it looked like they were just going down, no shadow of a doubt. But yeah, that was kind of the Prem games. The other game, big game, I suppose, in a big sporting weekend was the Clásico was on. Did you catch that? Did you catch the highlights of that?
Got the highlights anyway.
Yeah.
I saw Benzema doing his thing again.
Yeah, that was a great game. Two teams going really well in the Liga. As we said,
and Atletico not going well.
Yeah, we said that Atletico are just the same. The last time Atletico won, it was the same thing. Atletico were just like stumbling over the finish line, and I think Barcelona were also just desperate to not win it as well. And Atletico won like last day of the season. Maybe it's just the way that they play Atletico. It's obviously very intense and high pressing, and it takes that out of you, and you probably need a big squad to pull that off. But yeah, the Clásico, it means that Clásico win for Real Madrid means I think they're 1 point behind Atletico and Barcelona 1 point behind Real Madrid. So it's any one of those three's game, really.
I mean, Real Madrid have a chance of doing the double.
Yeah, they could do the double for sure.
That'd be mad because they seemed like they weren't at it at all this season for months.
And they look really good in the Clásico as well. Benzema, like I said, scored a great goal. The second goal, maybe they should have done a bit better. It was a free kick from Kroos. It was deflected, but Alba was on the line and he needed to head it off. He just kind of missed it.
Whiffed it.
But uncharacteristically lashing rain in Madrid. Did you see that?
Yeah. That was... it looked like it was here.
Yeah, poor...
It looked like a League of Ireland game.
Poor Messi was miserable. He had to change his shirt, the poor lad. I would watch that, and it was a bad look. I think everybody agreed, like, okay, come on, you just got to play on. Like, you can't...
Yeah, suck it up.
It's literally the same for everybody. It's raining for everybody. You can't be changing your... when you need a goal, when you want to lead a leader, oh, man, I'm freezing here.
I'm too wet.
I get a new jersey. It's like, mad. But he hasn't been...
He wouldn't embrace it. Like, remember Ronaldo? That picture of him with the soaking jersey? But I'd say he loved it because it's just like pure ab busted through it. Probably put on an extra wet jersey before he went out.
Well, Messi hasn't been running around the pitch since about the 2014 World Cup. So, I mean, he wasn't going to warm up any other way. He was just going to I'm going to stand here, wait for the ball, and I'm going to get very cold. So, I mean, I think I should change my shirt.
Yeah. Can I put on a Barca hoodie?
Yeah, that was a good game, though. It'd be sad to think that was Messi's last Clásico in the Real Madrid training ground. No fans, just like the way it ends of that. It'd be kind of sad to see, but
I don't know. I don't know who's going to buy him now because it does seem like for ages it seemed like the big clubs were like they were saying they didn't have money, but everyone was like, "Come on, you've money."
Yeah.
But as time's gone on, it's kind of like, okay, I don't think PSG are going to buy anyone. I don't think City are. Like Pep said, City don't they're not going to spend big.
Oh, I'd say that Pep. Get up out of that, Pep. Yeah. Get up out of that, will you?
But you know what I mean. As time's gone on, clubs are like at the end of a summer where they didn't spend. Like, well, what do you expect? We've no money.
Yeah,
there's no fans.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know about Messi going anywhere else. I don't see it happen, to be honest. I don't think it would make sense for anybody, really.
Not his contract.
Yeah.
Even if he cuts his contract in half, it's still insane.
Yeah, but again, maybe it's crazy embarrassing. Maybe the pressure is just too much for him. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. But yeah, good game, and like I say, it's good to go into the Champions League for Madrid on the back of a win rather than a draw or a loss. So,
big win.
That's well, today is Monday when we're recording, but you probably listen to this tomorrow on Tuesday. So tonight, we have Champions League games coming up. Who's playing that? Was it Liverpool and Real Madrid on Tuesday?
Liverpool, Madrid. I don't know about the nights, but
well, second half of these Champions League games coming up. It is PSG, Bayern, and Chelsea, Porto tomorrow. In fact, and then Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Dortmund City on the Wednesday night.
That's a good night.
Oh, it's great, man. Really Champions League is so good at this time of year. Always good games. We'll have another episode for you on that on this Friday. So
we'll promote this one.
We'll definitely tell you about this one. The last thing we should talk about is a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
A bit of a late run, perhaps, for those elusive Europa League spots in the
very elusive
in the Turkish Super League. Göztepe are back, baby. 2 wins on the bounce, 2-1. Halil Akbanar back in the Euro conversation. A goal for him. He's going to call up to Turkey. Don't worry about that. That was against Kasaspor, or Hatayspor, should say. Sorry, and then the two, like I said, they're playing a lot of games as well. They played against a Kayak Rizespor.
Great name.
Yeah, that was the 2-1 win, and then Hatayspor. They played 3-2 win, and I was the witness to Jehovic's hat trick. I was a Jehovic's witness to his perfect hat trick, right, left, headed goal in. The 34-year-old North Macedonian journeyman coming up big for Göztepe. You love to see it.
North Macedonian, was he playing in the Germany game?
No. Like I say, he's 34 now. He's past this.
Oh, too old.
Yeah, no, he's past that. He's a journeyman for Göztepe, journeyman Turkish footballer. A great hat trick, and that brings us still to 10th. We haven't moved from 10th.
It does feel like they're trapped.
It's just the way the fixtures run. This is the thing. It's not about how many points you are behind. It's how many teams are ahead of you. Because you have to pass out how many teams to get those points. It's always going to be tough. We're kind of treading water in mid-table, despite how many goals or how many wins we get. But look, it's better than the 5 losses we had, or not 5 losses, but we hadn't won in 5, so 2 wins in the bounce.
Might as well have been 5.
That's great. Great to see Akbanar back in the score sheet.
He's had a tough few weeks.
He's had a tough few weeks now. His confidence has definitely been knocked. But first the prank call up, and then the insulting last 4 minutes of a game they already had won. I mean, that was kind of almost.
And then us insulting his height.
Well, look, that's not an insult; it's a fact. He's a small man. I think if anything, it makes him even more impressive that the feats he's been achieving.
Messi. He's like Messi.
Yeah, the Turkish Messi they call. So yeah, great to see Göztepe back again. No real movement on the league, but back amongst the goals, back amongst.
We have a big game next.
Who's our next game?
We're up against Galatasaray.
Oh, love it. Love to see.
That's what we're all about.
Are they come to us? Or are we going to them?
They're coming to us.
Yeah, well, buckle up, Galatasaray.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go step and get results. So,
yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else you want to touch on? Any other news?
No, I think that was it. It was a kind of one of those weeks. It's like there's 2 different types of weeks, it seems, when we do the podcast. One, football's boring, but lots of weird things happen. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Or 2, the football's good, but nothing weird happens. There's no fun. It's just football's good.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other. This week was the football is good week.
No, it was a good week for sure. Like I say, we'll be back later on in the week to review the Champions League. And I guess the Europa League as well. We're still knocking away at that.
God, it is. I really do hope it builds to the main event of the podcast of Arsenal versus United in the Europa League final. How far we've fallen.
If I thought that was going to happen, I'd be more enthused about it. But I just have this sinking feeling that it's just going to end in tears for Arsenal, and just like I don't know, man. Yeah, we got some crazy week coming up now in terms of like games. We have this weekend. There is FA Cup semi-finals, plus probably Premier League games as well. I'd imagine there never isn't Premier League games, and then
there are always.
And then you have in 2 weeks you have the Carabao Cup final, and you have Champions League as well and Europa League playing off as well. So some good games coming up.
It's all coming to a head. The home stretch.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch. We have like 1 million people vaccinated now in Ireland.
Something like that. Well, they're counting
second jabs,
2 doses. Yeah, so they're counting those as 2 separate people.
Hey, look, a jab's a jab's a jab. Yo, bread is bread, cheese is cheese, a jab's a jab.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would clubs say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?